And hello, and welcome everyone to a new installment of the Comic Multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. We're so happy to have you all with us here tonight on this Sunday night in the cold, cold chilliness of November. Well, it's cold where I am. I'm sure it's not cold where Matt is.
No, we're right in the middle of summer right now. We're just coming into summer right now, but it feels like we've been here for ages, and it's very hot.
Yeah, there you go. But you've been keeping busy, Matt. We were talking before we even hit play here on the big weeks we had. You had a bigger week than me, but we both had some big weeks.
We did have some big weeks. I got my PlayStation 5.
Lucky.
Picked that up last week. Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. It's such like the designs of like the UI and it's like everything's just so much better now than it was on the PlayStation 4. And
interesting. Okay.
The way the games load, like the SSD and everything, it's just so good. And the games themselves are fucking awesome. Miles Morales is so damn cool.
Man, gotta get me some of that. Yeah, the loading times, I know that's what they were really selling this generation on, where it's like, look, we may have hit a window for how good things can look now, but we promise, like, loading will be a thing of the past. We can do amazing loading times now.
Yeah, it's like Demon Souls. Before, like, when you'd play the Souls game, there'd be, like, you'd die, and there'd be kind of, like, a long load till you get load back to the start. Yeah. Now it's almost instantaneous. So there's not a lot of that frustration of like, oh, I got so far in and then died, now I've got to do it all again. You can just like run straight back there now.
Well, that's really good to hear. I know I've been playing the new AC Valhalla, so hey, don't worry everyone, we got another Assassin Talk lined up for you. And yes, before anyone has to tell us in the comments, we are well aware that many of the people who worked on that game are probably sex offenders, and we feel bad about it. But also, Matt and I just want to be Vikings. Vikings, history's greatest sex offenders, some might say.
Yeah. No, I'm quite liking the game.
I am too. I think they hit that magic gameplay loop that the best Assassin's Creed games have, where it's like, you know, you go out, you raid, you get stuff for your settlement, you do story missions to level up so you can take on bigger and better raids, and it all just genuinely feels good. And Ivar's actually a good, likable character, not nearly as bland as the two Greek twins kind of were.
Yeah, no, he's got a quite a unique backstory, and I like the idea that he wasn't aware of like the assassins or anything beforehand, whereas like Alexios and who's the guy from Origins? Bayek. They were both ingrained in the Hidden Ones and all of that sort of stuff, where this guy's just like, hey, he just meets these two guys that just happen to be assassins.
Again, there's a lot of Edward Kenway in that one, too, where it's like, hey, this whole Assassin's Creed quest is secondary to my own mission and everything, which is kind of fun and everything. I dig that he's a bit of a warrior poet. They could have written him to be a big, dumb meathead, a la Connor, if they wanted. But no, he's actually quite intelligent, and people come to him to solve their problems.
Yeah. We were talking about, because you just started the Vikings TV show, and it feels like the games took a lot of the stuff from that show, as well as from history, and kind of borrowing from both of them, and you can see the parallels in all of them.
Some visuals they stole directly, like in the first 3 minutes of that episode, he sees all the ravens and everything, and, you know, Odin in a big dark cloak with a spear. I'm like, hey, that's what the game did. Hey, Ubisoft, did you steal that, Ubisoft? Tevi asked me about bugs and glitches. Yeah, actually, I ran into a game-breaking bug or progression-breaking bug within the first 3 hours, so I had to basically do all the other side content until they patch it. But you know what? There's actually a lot of really good side content, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, there's heaps. I haven't run into any big glitches so far. I usually get pretty lucky with stuff like that, where I either don't get them, or if I do, it's something very early on that'll prevent me from playing the rest of the game or something.
Maybe this is the difference between last gen and new gen, because I noticed my one complaint, waiting times. Loading times are a little shitty. I'm guessing they're probably better on the PS5.
Oh yeah, they still have that menu where you see your character, but then like it goes away in like 5-6 seconds or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. Been playing some of that. Ooh, In the Netflix front, I started that new Anti-Donna sketch show. Some very funny comedians from your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I've known Anti-Donna for a long time. I've known them since they were on YouTube and Facebook and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they've been toiling at it for a long bit. I only just discovered them maybe a year and a half before they eventually got this show. And yeah, they are very funny, very surreal. I would say between the three of them, they probably do more diverse types of sketch comedy than just about any other sketch comedy group. There's wordplay, there's funny songs, there's just surreal ass shit that they do.
Oh yeah, their stuff is fantastic. I love the variety they have, and it's like a proper variety show.
Oh yeah. And every episode actually kind of has a weird story and through line to it. I just finished episode 4, which hilariously enough had a cameo from wrestler Awesome Kong. And a ton of other people. Ed Helms is in there. A lot of people from College Humor, I noticed. You can kind of pinpoint when this was filmed, when these were all working actors there. But yeah, great caster. Paul F. Tompkins, he's in it as well. Weird Al Yankovic, of course. Just great comedians co-signing the works of some really funny international comedians who are probably going to get way more eyes on them now.
Oh, absolutely. And if it means they get more Netflix shows, specials or something, I'm all for it. As long as it doesn't change their whole dynamic.
Yeah, I know, right? You hate that where it's like, oh yeah, they got a bunch of money and success and then they started hating each other. Yeah, you always hate to hear that story. But yeah, they're very funny. Very funny if you're sober, and I'm sure uproariously funny if you're high as well watching it. Literally, the first sketch is just them singing a song, Everything's a Drum, Everything's a Drum, for 3 minutes, listing off all the things that are drums. But the best joke, I think I just saw before we came in here, they were doing a take on, old-timey jukebox music, and you know how, in Pulp Fiction, they do that thing where it's like, hey, Vincent, don't be a square, and then they actually draw it like it was the Flintstones.
Yeah.
In this one, it's, hey, Broden, don't be a cunt. See, just funny, and his deadpan delivery, and they do the animation and just great use of the word cunt. I absolutely loved it. I laughed for about 2 solid minutes and then had to go tell someone else.
Yeah, you got to check out their YouTube stuff. It's pretty good.
I've watched some of them. What were the 2 I really liked? I liked Bikey Wars. That was a very good one.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
And I liked their one talking about Jared Fogle, because again, I'm like, oh yeah, Subway's a much bigger chain in Australia, isn't it? So I'm sure that hit them way harder. But yeah, that's good shit. That has my stamp of approval. And also, I got my Gundam finally, and I started working on my first ever Gunpla.
Yeah, I bought 3 more just before we started the show, so they're going to be here tomorrow, I think.
Hey man, you got any more of them good Gundams, man? I'm fiending. It's been about 15 minutes since I had my Gundams. Which ones did you get?
Which ones did I get? I got, hold on, I actually had the thing up just before. I got a Barbatos, a HD Barbatos from Iron-Blooded Orphans. Nice. I got a, which one was this? This is the UNT Spacey prototype, which is kind of looks like the RX. It's a GPO1. It's a big MG grade. And I got an RG MK2 one that kind of looks like the RX, but it's like black.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm really excited to build that one.
Yeah, sounds good. I've been working on mine. It's fairly easy. I'm learning the little eccentricities there where, you snip it, and then if you get a little extra, you got to cut it with the X-Acto knife and then file it down to make sure it's all nice and everything. But yeah, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be. It's a little intimidating when you open it up and you got all the sheets of parts and everything. Yep. But once you start rolling there and you get a good groove going with it, yeah, it's really fun. And then at the end, of course, you get to see it. And when I'm all done, maybe next week, I was going slow because I wanted to film a little something for Patreon with it, but I'll be sure to debut my new Gundam Son on stream for everybody.
You're going to put all your little stickers on it and everything?
Yeah, looking forward to that part too, because I'm bad with stickers with my big sausage fingers. We'll see how that goes. But yes, everyone, believe it or not, this is a comic book show. Sometimes. Sometimes, you know, and we do actually have some comic book news for you this week. Perhaps the biggest story, and one that I don't see a lot of people talking about, probably because it's so new, but when Three Jokers ended, a lot of people theorized, where is Geoff Johns going to go next? What's he going to do? You know, he's not the big cheese over at DC anymore. He doesn't seem to have any big major projects coming out. Well, apparently him and Gary Frank are rejoining again, and they're heading on over to Image for a new series called Geiger.
Yeah, this immediately has my attention because it's Geoff Johns, Gary Frank, and Brad Anderson all coming back together again for a comic that looks quite interesting. It's about a nuclear holocaust or something, and the world that leaves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just as we said with the type of talent that's behind this one right now, their first Image series is this Geoff Johns' first Image series ever?
Yes. I want to say he's done something independent before this.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, is this his first Image work? Because, I mean, that's just a recipe for, like, hey, even if you don't read independent, you should probably check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, weirder still, the story I heard, of course, reading all those Future State things, is that he's writing this, but apparently he's also in the creative meetings, too, for Future State and beyond and everything. So it's really interesting to think what his role at DC might actually be now.
Yeah, he's in those creative meetings. He's got a story coming up in one. I think it's one of the tie-ins for Death Metal after the newest issue comes out this week. I can't remember which book it was in, but he's writing a story about Superboy Prime.
Oh, right, of course, which is the character that he kind of helped bring back and kind of shepherd and everything, so of course he has stuff to say, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Good for him. Good for Gary Frank. Yeah, I have to check this one out now that, you know, it's kind of, will this be Geoff Johns uncut? Will this be him with the reins off?
The gloves are off.
The gloves are off. Now, will he be saying things here that he couldn't say elsewhere? What exists in the mind of Geoff Johns? So yes, in this nuclear apocalypse, there was this company that didn't let this awesome man do things he wanted to do, even though he was steering the ship very well. Is this autobiographical, Geoff? No. No, he doesn't seem like that sort of guy who would air his grievances in a story.
No, not at all.
But still, maybe that's my own pettiness, where it's like, if I was a writer, I'd be doing that all the time. Like, in here, I invented a new character, and he's always telling Spider-Man what to do. It's like, is that me? Is that me, your editor? No. Then why is he drawn to look like me? No reason.
Oh, just like pure coincidence.
You're a handsome guy, that's why. Wink. But yeah, there's Geiger, everyone. Be sure to keep your eyes open for that. That should be cool. And hey, thank you, Crimson Echidna.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, Echidna I know from Sonic and everything, but also I had a weird dyslexic moment there where I almost called him Crimson Enchilada. Because my brain auto-completed those letters together. And I'm like, well, obviously you're at a Mexican restaurant, Joel, and it's enchilada. You gotta order the Crimson Enchilada.
That's the spicy one.
Oh, yeah, it tastes great going down, but it will be painful later. So thank you, Crimson Echidna, and also Crimson Enchilada. That code name is just, up for grabs if anyone wants it. That's just right there. You can just have that one. Now, our next piece of news here actually involves DC Digital, something that you and I both champion a lot, Matt, here on this show and in general.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's going to be a brand new digital series coming from DC, perhaps part of their new push to put more stock in digital. It's going to be called Truth and Justice. And it's going to be basically a team-up series is what it's going to be, like Truth, Justice, everything else. And the premiere story is going to be featuring Vixen, actually.
Yeah, she's kind of making a comeback after she kind of disappeared after JLA ended its run about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and after they kind of gave up on her on television,
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame, because Mari McCade is a cool character with a cool costume and a cool backstory.
Yeah, I maybe they just didn't know what to do with her. I don't know how they couldn't, because, yeah, as you said, she's got a cool backstory, cool set of powers, cool costume.
I think she was a victim of when multimedia projects go wrong, and that is where it's like, okay, we're pushing her on television, which means we should push her in the comics, too, for synergy. Oh, well, we had to change the actress. Well, we only really got one season out of her on television. You can stop pushing her in the comics. It's all fine. I think that's what it really breaks down to. But no, this is a really cool idea to take, like second, third string heroes with big cult followings and kind of give them more to do. And in a digital format, too. Like, this didn't need to be a book on the shelves, but like, hey, I assure you, if you put this out digitally where every Vixen fan can find it, they're going to find it and want to read it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm probably going to give it a read because these digital books have been really quite fantastic.
They've been killing it. Yeah, they've been knocking it out of the goddamn park. I've been enjoying DC's digital outings more than I've been enjoying more of their print outings recently. Again, there's this sense of freedom, and if this is part of their bigger omniversal push, whatever the hell they want to call it, where it's just like, look, we're having lots of stories in different, timelines and different continuities. Here it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, more power to them, and definitely, keep your eyes peeled to both Matt's channel and my own, where I'm sure we'll be talking more about these later.
Absolutely.
Also, hey, in the comments section below, and even in the chat here, tell us, what character would you like to see featured in Truth and Justice, now that apparently, the limiters are off and you can just do whatever you want?
They'll have to be all, like, characters who aren't used.
Yeah, what about the Creeper? The Creeper has a big fan following, but they never seem to know what to do with.
Yeah, Creeper, Ragman.
Ooh, yeah. All characters that Tom Taylor's been doing. Tom Taylor can't do it on his own, everyone. Everyone else needs to pick up the slack here. I always thought Bronze Tiger had a lot going for him, too. Sometimes a hero, sometimes a villain, a martial artist in the mold that DC doesn't really focus on all that much.
Yeah, there you go. Party Pug got it right. Snowflame.
Ah, there you go. Oh, my body burns with the white-hot power of cocaine. Snowflame versus his new opponent, Methadone Man. You can't stop me, Methadone Man. I am all cocaine all the time. Chat says Metal Man. I don't know, can we do Metal Man now that Didio's not there? Apparently he was the only person championing the Metal Man.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got their own book now, so yeah.
Pretty good. Jaden says Man-Bat. Apparently, Man-Bat had a miniseries.
He's getting one in Future State.
Future State, Future Shock. That one. Oh, really? He's getting one too.
Yeah. It's coming out around the same time. That is, I don't know whether it's tied into it or whether it's just like a separate book. But he's getting one.
Oh, well, good for him then. Yeah, I always liked Kurt Langstrom. I especially liked in Justice League Dark, where he's kind of a hero now.
Mm-hmm.
So good stuff. Everyone's saying, what about Blue Beetle? What about Blue Beetle? My heart breaks for Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes, because it's like, we call him this cult hero, this misunderstood icon who everyone loved, who never got a chance. Yet, hilariously, he probably gets more chances every couple of years than just about anyone else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is? No one wants a new Blue Beetle. They want their old Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle book to finish the way it didn't get to finish before the New 52 happened.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants.
Where, look, we don't want something new, we just want you to finish the story you were telling that you never got to, and that's the real heartbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that frickin' sucks. To think Young Justice probably did a better job telling that story and finishing it off.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, that was like the only place it was being told.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, with the reach and everything else there, that was good shit. Alright, what else we got going on here? Ooh, more DC news. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy will be leading a DC Valentine's Day anthology. Of course, DC does this every so often with Christmas and Halloween and everything else. It's a nice place to showcase new writers and kind of, tell fun, interesting one-off stories. I will freely admit I don't buy them every year, because I'm just like, this probably won't matter. This probably won't mean much, but they're usually always fun.
Yeah, there's been a couple I've just skipped. Some I've watched and watched videos on, and some I've picked up, but others I've just gone, I don't really care about that. I'm sure there's probably really good stories in there, but yeah. Yeah.
Also, did the Crimson Enchilada actually start following now? Whoever did that, good job. Good job. 10 on 10, A+. What I thought was interesting about this, and the only reason I brought it up, period, is that, you know, they're saying that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy will be holding down this Valentine's Day issue. Do you think, again, with this whole Omniverse concept now, and, you know, this kind of more anything goes approach that DC is doing, have they seen the massive success that the Harley Quinn TV show has had, and they're like, look, are we finally going to throw comic fans a bone and be like, okay, Harley and Ivy can officially be a couple now? Why not?
I mean, it looks to go that way because they like a couple of weeks ago, they literally just got married in the Injustice comic.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I think it's heading in that way, and it's them sort of like shoring up. Or it happens in all these other universes. We'll have it happen in the main one as well.
Might as well. I mean, people have only seemed to enjoy it across the board. So, I mean, there you go, DC. What are you afraid of doing? Making people happy?
I would like, though, if... Because obviously we've got James Tynion teased that story in I think it was in the Warzone book or one of the other ones where we're getting more of a villain as Poison Ivy again.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's Breaking Bad again, it would seem.
And I wouldn't mind if that actually is the thing that drives Harley back to being a villain.
Might be interesting. Again, Tynion has ironically brought Harley closer to the Bat family and done more to actually try and make her a good guy than the last couple runs of her solo series have. I don't know if I would want them to backtrack.
Well, see, that's the thing. That could make it a bit more compelling.
So they go bad together. Yeah. That might be something. Where, okay, we're villains now, but now we're AAA villains in our own right now. It could be interesting. You can make something happen out of that. Then again, I wonder, too, if another one of the big reasons they invented Punchline is so that Harley could become more of a AAA main character and they wouldn't have to feel bad about it.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about Punchline later, everyone. Don't worry, you'll get your Punchline fix.
Yeah.
All you speculators. So moving on from there. Now this is something I put on the docket solely for me, and we're not going to make a huge thing about this, but another thing I did this week, Matt, was I saw that new Mutants movie, finally.
No, I did as well.
Holy shit, what a bad movie.
It was well worth the wait.
Man, like, again, I had to explain myself on Twitter when everyone's like, really, Joel, you watch New Mutants, but you didn't watch Dark Phoenix? Look, I knew Dark Phoenix was going to be bad. I knew that one was going to be a turd right away, and no matter how many times they reshot it, they weren't going to be able to polish it. But this, Matt, New Mutants, this was something special. There was, like, 5 delays here, tons of reshoots, tons of reshoving. They dropped it out in the middle of a fucking pandemic, so you knew this had to be something special. This had to be the anti-Holy Grail, and holy shit, I was not ready for it.
It's like bad in every way, isn't it?
Yes. It's so bad in every way. I truly, truly feel that even if they didn't reshoot it a bunch of times, even if they didn't rewrite it and reshuffle it and do everything else they tried to do to it, I'm certain it would have still been a bad movie regardless. There was never a good movie in here.
Oh, no, yeah. I don't understand as well because I'm fairly certain that they got, like, the creators of these characters involved in it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, spelled their names wrong.
Yeah.
That's another thing this movie does wrong. Literally from the first minute, I knew it was going to be bad because they, like, try and do their own take on, you know, the Patrick Stewart quote openings from, like, the good X-Men movies.
Yep.
And I'm like, uh-oh, this is bad. They're reheating something old, so all right, already off to a bad start. Then they do the famous, you know, what is it, you know, within each man exist 2 wolves, da-da-da-da-da, that famous, you know, proverb. Only they fuck it up in 2 major, ultimately pretty offensive ways. One, they change wolf to bear to very lazily try and make it fit the story of the movie. And 2, later on, Danny Moonstar says, oh yeah, you know, my father told it to me. It's an old Cheyenne legend. No, it isn't. It's an older story even than that, but when it's attributed to anybody, it's, attributed to a completely different tribe.
Well, you mentioned, like, it was offensive. Like, all the characters in here were offensive. They're literally like cutouts, like borderline racist cutouts. Or in Roberto's case, like actually racist. He's Latino, and they make him work in the kitchen, and he's the thirsty one. You know, Oh my god.
Again, it's shocking that with a cast this small, that every character can be a horrible stereotype. In an X-Men movie that, you know, the X-Men all about defeating, you know, racism and bigotry and everything. But yeah, oh my god, the one brown guy is like super horny and is made to work in the kitchen. Also, too, DaCosta's actually supposed to be a black Cuban. That's a whole big thing, too, that they cast a light-skinned guy in this role. And when they asked Boone, the writer-director, he's like, oh, I don't care about race. Fucking no kidding, you don't. To say nothing of Magic being super racist to Danny Moonstar, the whole movie, like just in bits where you're like, ow, wow, that hurts and takes me out of the movie. And then they try and justify it and throw it away and be like, no, it's okay that she's, you know, racist because she was molested. Oh yeah, we've added that now to her character.
Yeah, it didn't need to be added. It didn't need to be added in. And then you've got obviously Wolfsbane, who is the cliche Catholic, scolded
really
Catholic
religious Scot, yeah. Which, man, Maisie Williams is just way too good for this shit. And she's phoning it in this too. Like we've seen so many years of her acting really good on like Game of Thrones and other stuff that she's in, but she is not having any fun with any of this. Also, can I mention, too, apparently, too, you know, because I had to understand this more. I read some interviews with Boone, the director, and he's like, oh, yeah, you know, my inspirations for this were One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Breakfast Club, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Wars. I'm like, those are 3 movies that do not go together.
No, they don't.
In the slightest. But you know what? I kind of see the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, but not 3. I see Nightmare on Elm Street 2 in here. There's this creepy, lurid perviness to all of this.
Yeah.
Why, Matt, did the girls need 2 shower scenes?
'Cause reasons.
Even though we could get that out in something else. Like, I felt really dirty watching scenes in this movie where I'm like, someone is getting off on this, and it sure as fuck ain't me.
Again, all these types of scenes felt like studio notes. Like, you gotta have this, you gotta tick this off. Oh, they're all like now friends and they're dancing. Oh, that happened in Breakfast Club. We'll tick that off, you know?
Oh my god, the dance scene is so fucking painful. You could literally hear some studio head in his chair being like, yeah, well, you know, the second act is dragging and we don't really believe they're friends. Have them sing and dance together. You mean in the creepy ass asylum where they're all being abused? Yeah, do that. Even though it makes no goddamn sense, just everything about this movie hurts to the fact where it's like, oh, here's Magic and she has her sword and limbo and everything. You going to explain any of that? No, we're not going to explain.
It just appears.
Anything.
It just appears. Again, and then Lockheed. All right. I reckon Lockheed was a late addition. I reckon Lockheed was always just going to be that puppet. It wasn't going to be an actual real dragon.
Yes. So fun. Oh, they steal scenes from Logan, which is supposed to be in the future and maybe in a different timeline. They straight up steal a bunch of footage from Logan.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up. And then they're like, oh, here's the Essex Corporation, Mr. Sinister. Ooh, a sequel that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the actual demon bear that all of this is building up to, oh my god, is that a bad bit of computer-generated monster work?
Ooh, yeah. You can see why they didn't show it all that much.
No, it's just the fact here where it's like, okay, we've won, we're friends now. When the fuck did you all become friends?
Yeah, you all hate each other. And you hate each other for like the shittiest reasons as well.
Absolutely. They're all terrible people in this movie. I can't remember the last time they've made a cast so wholly unlikable. And again, even if this wasn't edited to shit, even if this wasn't, you know, rewritten and rejiggered a bunch of times, I'm pretty sure this was always going to be bad. But I will tell you what, Matt, this movie was so bad, it actually does make me want to see Dark Phoenix now just to contrast and compare.
At least Dark Phoenix it's like, it keeps moving. Whereas this film just like fucking stops.
Yeah, there is no forward momentum in this movie. There is no theme. There's no bigger idea. There's really no villain for a huge chunk of the movie, too. So there's, like, no antagonist and no drama, and it's just people sitting around being shitty to each other.
Yeah. Which could have been an interesting film, but it's not.
Yeah, there is just nothing going on here. holy shit, this is bad. And I cannot believe, too, that this is like the ultimate nail in the coffin. This is the final word on the Fox X-Men franchise.
It's perfect, isn't it? It's perfect.
It really is. Oh, you guys never knew what was going on. And you may have again hired a creeper to work on this. Oh.
Yeah, creeper who, maybe shouldn't have said anything before his film came out.
Yeah, you may have hired an actual racist to work on your race allegory movie. Good job, Fox. But yeah, wow, what a piece of shit this was. And like, again, I of course had to go jump on IMDb there to like read about, and he's like, oh yeah, if I had my way, I would have done Inferno next, and I would have had Warlock come in, and it would have been Sacha Baron Cohen, and I'm like, get right fucked. That was never gonna happen. Fuck right off. But yeah, so New Mutants is really goddamn bad. If you haven't seen it yet, you have dodged a huge bullet. But don't worry, this will probably make a hilarious comic multiverse commentary one day.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, this, you know, because it does try and be a horror movie, so this would have been perfect for Halloween.
It does try and be a horror movie, and I like the horror aspects, like that, what's that, what do they call that thing that comes after magic? That. Oh, yeah, the creepy monster thing. The fucking design, it looks like, it's like Slender Man. It's like, it kind of like dates the film.
What if Slender Man was a Russian mobster?
This is when the film was meant to come out, when this was Slender Man or weird creepypasta things were popular.
Absolutely. Also, the smiley face masks belong to a group called the Right from the New Mutants, not whatever weird molestation brothel thing they put magic in, because that's edgy, right? Mm-hmm. That's fucking edgy. We got to edge it up in here for some reason. Can't just do the story as it was.
No, that's too interesting, Joel.
No, clearly, yeah. Just fuck this movie. Like, literally, I went on a rant about this on Twitter last night, but this is legit the worst movie I've seen all year.
It's pretty bad.
Have you seen something worse this year?
I want to say I have. I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly certain I've seen some shit this year.
Because you see a lot more movies than me generally.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and like see which movies I have seen and stuff, probably for like an end of the year list sort of thing.
This will be a weird and interesting year for that, because it's like we got so much that came out to digital, and also like so many things that probably wouldn't have come out at all if the studios weren't like, oh fuck, we gotta get this out, we gotta put something out right away. Like 2 movies that came out this week that I genuinely do think I want to see. What is it? One is that Freaky.
I want to see that one as well. Yeah, that one with Vince Vaughn and that one chick from the Pokemon film.
Yeah, that body swap horror movie from the guy who made Happy Death Day. Originally, it was supposed to be called Freaky Friday the 13th, because that's literally the joke. And I mean, look, that's so interesting, and I liked Happy Death Day, and I like Blumhouse's new horror offerings. I'm genuinely willing to see something that has Vince Vaughn in it now, so that should tell you.
It looked funny. It looked really funny.
It does, and again, I hate to say it, but they're using Vince Vaughn excellently, where it's like, yeah, he's a big dude who looks intimidating enough on his own, but also creepy and sleazy enough to be a serial killer. But also funny enough to do the funny bits. Yeah. Magmaster Scott Lobdell didn't write New Mutants, did he? No, but it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like that. And what was the other one that came out this week? Oh yeah, Alec Baldwin in a movie called Chick Fight, where I'm like, okay, this looks weird and interesting. I'll see it.
Is Alec Baldwin getting drunk and beating up women?
No, but he might be training another woman to beat up other women. I don't know from the trailer, but I'm like, all right, Alec Baldwin in a movie called Chick Fight. I'll check this out.
It's Alec Baldwin. I'm all for Alec Baldwin.
It's also one of those things, too, where it's like, I probably wouldn't even see it, but a lot of the stand-up comedians I follow, apparently a bunch of their friends and other comedians they like are in it, so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Again, our cup not exactly running over with new movies at the moment.
No. Well, at least we got like stuff like Mandalorian on TV and whatnot.
Yeah. Man, how good was Mandalorian this week?
That was so cool. We got Bo-Katan in live action.
Looking great, and with the same actress. How fucking cool is that?
It's so good.
We also got the legit boss, Sasha Banks, making her Star Wars debut under her real name, too, which I think threw
that confused me, because I'm like, that's Sasha Banks, but she wasn't credited in the film. I'm like, oh, they credited her under her real name.
Also, too, the reason they probably didn't use her wrestling name is that this was shot during a very brief window when she was kind of teasing that she might actually leave when her contract expired and go work for AEW or go work somewhere else.
Okay.
So that was her probably big dicking the company and being like, oh, I don't need to use the name you gave me. I'm using my name for this because I might not be working there much longer. Also, yeah, we got a little bit more stuff with the Darksaber. We got a little bit more stuff with Grand Moff Gideon. Good shit.
It was really damn good episode.
Uh-huh. God, those fucking, what's that show where they're lobster fishermen? The reality show.
Yeah, I know the one
Deadliest
you're talking
Catch.
about. Yeah, Deadliest Catch.
Fucking Mando goes on the Deadliest Catch ship and they all turn on him. Fuck those space crab fishermen. They scared the baby Yoda.
Hey, he ate them eggs.
He did, but you know, maybe he's learning now. Sometimes you eat the eggs and sometimes they eat you. Gotta be careful. Man, I have a great pitch, too, for Sasha Banks' character. Next season, we need to find out that she has a rival in the Empire, and oh, what's that? It's Imperial Officer Bailey, and they need to fight each other on a Star Destroyer, and that's how they finish that feud in Star Wars. Yeah, that Sasha Banks Mandalorian did shockingly little wrestling moves, but there's time. Also, I love the other Mandalorian speaks, what is it, with the New Zealand accent?
Yeah, he kind of even looks like Tamura Morrison a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, wait, was this guy part of the same family? Like, what's the deal here? Is there just a part of Mandalore where everyone is from New Zealand? You know, the New Zealand part of Mandalore. Some interesting tidbits they dropped, too, where apparently, so Mandalore wasn't destroyed. It's still a planet. It's just unrulable now for some reason.
It's like haunted or cursed or something. Or as Din says, in reality, it's probably just been bombed to shit by the Empire.
Probably, yeah. Also, I like we talked about this a week before, where it's like, oh, you know, Mando's probably going to meet some other Mandalorians that don't share his same ideas. You know, maybe they're part of more radical sects. No, actually, the other Mandalorians are cool and even-handed. He's part of the radical sect.
He's part of the Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, oh, that's so cool to flip that. It's like, why do you have your helmets off? And it's like, it's fine, man. We did it all the time back in the day. No one can see your face. It is very offensive to me and my beliefs, and they're like, oh god, this guy's, you know, a fucking, you know, watch child or whatever.
Yeah, some weird cult child soldier.
Which is hilarious, too, because it's like, but Bo, weren't you part of a group called the Death Watch? Weren't they a bunch of radicals, you know, trying to fight the pacifist Mandalorian? So it's funny that you think he's too hardcore. You know, I was young. We all did crazy things during the Clone Wars. Forgive and forget, you know? But yeah, also maybe Ahsoka next week.
Yeah. I don't think next week. I think we're gonna get an episode between, because I think Carl Weathers directs next week's episode.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because that's how Mando usually works, where it's like, oh, we got to go here, and then getting there is an episode in and of itself.
Because I imagine he's got to go back to wherever Carl Weathers and Cara Dune are, because his ship is just like a piece of shit now.
Yeah, with frickin', what is it, fishing nets and everything. Where it's like, come on, man, I fixed boats, not starships. I did the best I could. Fun stuff. All right, then, so what else we got going on? Is that all the news? Yeah, that's all the news this week.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, not a lot going on, but still good week, I think we can all agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with that, we can hop over into what we read this week, and there was some big titles this week.
Oh boy, was there ever.
Where would you like to begin, Matt?
Well, let's begin with death metal. We got an amazing tie-in called Infinite Hour Extreme with 3 X's.
That's extreme and an exclamation point. I'm like, God damn it, Matt, are they ripping off our extreme bit from back when we worked at Name Redacted?
But yeah, no, this is the issue that if you didn't know Death Metal was a shock comedy, this is the issue that should seal it for you. It didn't, of course, because people were still taking it seriously in the comments. But yeah, this is the issue that plainly states that this is a fucking schlock comedy.
Yes, with the perfect character to do that, Lobo, who embodies everything about death metal and the silliness and the ridiculousness and the farcical nature of it all.
Yeah, and he's kind of us. He's just along for the ride, you know, like commenting on like what the fuck's going on. He doesn't even know what the hell is happening. He's just been roped into this whole thing by Lex Luthor, who wants him to get the death metal, the literal death metal.
The thing that the whole story is based around that they have not actively explained in the 4 issues of the main series. They're only explaining it now here in the Lobo tie-in, which is basically a joke in and of itself. Also, too, how you know it's a joke, that primarily this comic is made of people telling Lobo to care and take this seriously, and this is all very important, and the world hangs in the balance, and Lobo's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck, I don't care. If the world ends, you know, it means all my enemies end.
So I'm
and
good.
Guy Fieri.
Yeah, well, apparently Lobo is more well-read than we know. He mentions Guy Fieri, he mentions Frank Frazzetti. I'm like, wow, Lobo knows what that shit is. I'm shocked. And of course, you know, a Lobo story, he needs an antagonist, and they create a hell of a new antagonist, don't they?
Yeah, the Batman who frags.
Which is an idea so stupid and so ridiculous, it goes all the way around in a circle and becomes awesome.
Yeah, so his whole backstory is a Batman who drank Zarian DNA to gain like strength, super strength, and a healing factor, and it turned him into fucking Lobo.
Yeah, though Lobo with a helmet that is also bat ears.
Yeah.
Which is so ridiculous. And again, Lobo is not moved by any of this. He's like, that's lame.
Yeah, I do find there was a great line where they're fighting at the start of the issue where Lobo just doesn't give a fuck about this. It's like, it's a fucking Batman with Lobo, I don't care. And and again, it's ridiculous. He talks about how he trained under the best headbutters in the world, so he can, in the universe. He can headbutt better than anyone else.
So freaking ugly. And the fact that Lobo almost beats him too.
Yeah,
when,
like straight
Luthor
away.
Pulls him away.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like a bit of an anthology story where it's like, okay, here's Lobo looking for the death metal, which he finds on Black Hawk Island, guarded by Hawkman. And I'm like, oh yeah, you Hawks were really important to the original metal story, weren't you? But you have not been seen hide nor hair of in this.
Yeah, they've kind of been just not present at all.
No, they've been really relegated to nothing, and it's Hawkman who ultimately explains what the fuck death metal is and what it can do. Basically, it can allow you to create universes. It can, be used to create your own little splinter universes, which is like, well, if it creates, why is it called death? Oh, yeah, it's a joke, right?
Yeah, so it's a MacGuffin that'll allow, I guess, Wonder Woman to recreate the Earth, and I imagine like she's going to use it and see a future, which will be future state, and then generations and all that sort of stuff.
Right, and I mean, that's basically the long and short of the story. We do get a funny bit there where I'm glad the writers are like, wait, so you're trusting Lobo with the power to make his own universes? That's a terrible idea. He'll totally fuck it up, and he does.
Yeah, he does. Almost immediately he makes Lobo Land, which is a land where all the heroes' origins involve Lobo.
In somewhere, they're just all Lobo across the board. And he even says, man, this is great, this is going to win me a Peabody. Which, again, Lobo follows the Peabody Award? Seriously? But yeah, it's all a joke, it's all a farce, it's all just silliness, but we're promised that apparently this will actually matter for Death Metal 5 that comes out this week.
Yeah, apparently this is a big issue, apparently, where a lot of stuff gets explained. Apparently we're getting teasers of the Omniverse as well.
Yeah, that new thing. It's not just what is it, an idea for this story? It's our brand new publishing initiative. Do you think Snyder always had Omniverse in mind, or do you think that's an editorial mandate where it's like, look, we know you're having fun here, Scott, but because everyone is reading this anyway, can you please start peppering references to the Omniverse?
Probably a bit of both. I have a feeling that since obviously Doomsday Clock was meant to play a bigger part in it all and everything, we were meant to get stuff like the metaverse and stuff like that, and that kind of evolved into the Omniverse stuff.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a fair amount of or whatever going on in death metal. But yeah, so that was Extreme Hour Infinite, which even the titles are jokes, people. Come on, that's a ridiculous title.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone can read that and think this is meant to be taken completely seriously.
And the titles keep getting longer and longer, too.
Yeah, and that itself is a joke.
Yeah, where it's like, what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything. Another issue that ultimately didn't end up meaning that much, Detective Comics number 1030 this week.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Mostly it reiterated a bunch of stuff from the previous issue.
Yeah?
Yeah, hey, this guy, Officer Nakano, he's running for mayor, doesn't like Batman and the masks. Also, there's a villain called the Mirror running around who similarly does not like superheroes and their masks. But we're pretty sure they're not the same person, though, but they're probably connected. It could be his wife, or it could be his dead partner.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Also, Damien is there, and he's apparently trying to solve a case, like the first case in the Black Case book, where apparently when Bruce's parents died and he first inherited their money, someone tried to kill him for like a year and they never figured out who it was, like tried to kill him before he was Batman.
Okay, you think that would be something Bruce would try and figure out?
Yeah, you think that would be important. It's like, no, they just stopped after a year and they never apprehended the killer. So Damien's trying to crack this case now and we don't know why. And we don't know why he stole the book. Is this like his weird idea of trying to say, I'm sorry, Bat Dad, I want back into the family? Or is this him being like, haha, I'm better than you, Bat Dad, I'll solve this case that you never solved?
Could be a bit of both. This is him trying to if I solve this case, Batman will see me as like a superior detective and take me back in.
Potentially, yeah, and like Damien just does not care about all this mirror stuff. I wonder if it's going to be connected, and again, they've already kind of spoiled it by showing in future covers apparently Hush is involved in some way.
Oh, no.
Was Hush trying to kill him as a kid? Are we going back to that? Are we trying to canonize that?
Oh, God. Tommy Elliott as a child is trying to kill him.
That would be weird and kind of interesting, and also maybe Tommy Elliott saved Nakano's partner and made him into Mir. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's definitely places they could go with it, but this was kind of a lackluster issue. Some interesting ideas, though. I like the idea that regular people who are against superheroes are actively sabotaging the Bat family now and stopping them from doing their work.
I did see that page, where like the Bat family are trying to respond to crimes and people like throwing nets over them and cutting their grapple lines and shit.
Yeah, cutting their tires and everything. Yeah. And they're just like, look, it's hard enough to fight villains in crime and also fight this bullshit.
Yeah.
Should we just stop, maybe? And I'm like, wow, yeah, that would be enough to make superheroes just want to quit. We're done with this shit. But yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't great. Could be better. Did great on the channel for some reason.
Yeah, I guess Damien's in it, I guess.
And I mentioned that fact, too, where it's like, yeah, Damien was an asshole for, like, the last couple of years, but don't worry, it wasn't bad writing or even an editorial mandate. The Reverse Flash made him do it, everybody.
Yeah, with the negative Speed Force.
To which I could tell a lot of people hadn't heard that before. They're like, wait, what? Where do they say that in this book? They don't say it in the book. They say it in the Flash book.
Yep, it's directly referenced.
It was all Reverse Flash. He did it. It was everybody. Everything bad that's happened in the last couple of years that
everything you didn't like was the Reverse Flash doing it.
Yeah, it was all his doing, which again is kind of awesome and kind of lame. And the only thing that bugs me is that the superheroes don't actually get like any justice on them. Like you told me, like Reverse Flash ceases to exist now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To where in my mind, I'm like, no, see, he's got to be the villain of the next big event, though. That's what you got to do. You got to parallax this shit.
Well, he ceases to exist until Hunter Zolomon or Eobard Thawne remember who they are.
True. I'm thinking, like, come on, you can't drop a story bomb like that, then not follow up on it in some way. Like, come on, forget Joker War, let's have Thawne War or something next time. Make that the next big event.
Have all the heroes realize that he did it all and go into the 25th century with pitchforks and flaming torches and
See, that's a good story. Yeah, have Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman be like, look, this guy ruined our lives for 3 years. He made us look stupid. He tore apart our families. We gotta go to the future and kick his ass. And actually have Flash there being like, no, it won't work because there's so many different versions of him out there, and he keeps crossing his own timelines.
Kick the asses of them all.
Yeah. To which Barry would be like, wait, can you do that? He's like, I'm fucking Superman. I can do whatever. I'm Batman. I can do whatever I set my mind to. And it's like, wait, could we actually do this? Could we actually pull this, thorn from my ass and have it be done with? Also, where the fuck were you guys before when this guy was ruining my life? You mean you could do it? Oh, and then you have the Justice League do what he did to him, and that is they use their time powers to go to him to every important moment in his life and, like, slap the shit out of him. Oh my god. See, this is an amazing story. Why aren't you doing this, DC? That's your next big event. Thawne War. Future War. It's good shit. Alright, Matt, what else did you have?
I had The Amazing Spider-Man issue 52.
Yes, I had this too, and this was the first book that made me wish I was really reading the .5s, because I feel like I missed a whole middle part here.
Yeah, you should just read the .5s. They're pretty good.
Yeah, from what I understand, they are. I'm thinking, like, how many more are there? Because I'm thinking, like, I should just make them one big video now.
A couple more. I want to. They had a checklist in the back. It goes until December, at least.
I did pick them up, and I did flick through them, and they do look pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, this one was, like, pretty fucking, like, big spoiler-wise as well.
Yeah, a little bit. So, Peter and Kindred finally get to fight. They finally get to lay hands on each other for, like, the first time. And they call it 4 months in comic book time, but it's been, like, 2 years in real time.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really, really freaking funny. And, they dust it up. We see Kindred can actually handle himself in a fight. They also seek to imply Kindred's not wearing a costume because Spider-Man punches right through him and it's just goo.
Yeah, he's like made up of bugs and gross shit.
Yeah, he's made of goo. Also, Spider-Man doesn't know what we, the reader, know, and that is that it's probably Harry under there, but maybe not the Harry we know, maybe another Harry, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because, like, was it last week we were talking about, like, oh, someone Spider-Man's going to come back and it's going to be like Flash Thompson or something. It's like, technically he did kind of come back this issue. He was a corpse along with like Uncle Ben and all that. I'm pretty sure we made a joke about them digging up Uncle Ben and it fucking happened.
They did. It fucking happened. Literally everything we joked about actually came to pass, which I guess that's their justification why Spider-Man completely turns off his mind and doesn't do any good detective work and doesn't try and take the mask off and doesn't try and ask any other questions because he's too angry, which makes perfect character and story sense, but bugged the shit out of me after 2 years. I was like, come on, Spider-Man, do something important.
And again, like, Kindred expected all of this, I think, and it is, I like that the character is kind of relishing in the fact that he's pissing off Spider-Man so much that he's just attacking him.
And seemingly refusing to kill him. Once again, Kindred has the upper hand on him several times, but does not go any further than that. Yeah.
Again, I think it's like that whole power trip sort of thing. He could do it, but he's not going to, because that's what Spider-Man wants
to do. Yeah, I will not end your suffering. And eventually we kind of get, I guess you could call it another callback to One More Day, with Spider-Man being like, look, let my friends go, stop their rampage, and I'll basically do whatever you want. And Kindred, again, weirdly enough, true to his word, actually takes all the sins out of them.
I did like that part where with Gwen throwing
Miles
off the bridge. It was kind of like Miles's vision of that happening kind of came true, like, because he only saw a Spider-Man being thrown off of it. He didn't know it was going to be him.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't put that together, actually, Matt. That's very good. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Also, you know, lots of callbacks to the night Gwen Stacy died and everything, where this comic ends with Kindred seemingly snapping his neck, too.
Yeah, and it's like a proper snap neck, because the head's, like, turned all the way around.
Which, I don't know, like, is that more of his mind game shit, or is that, like, him literally being like, okay, Peter, let's go to hell together?
Well, see, thing is, we don't know if it's in the real world or a dream world or something, because he got, to get to where he was there, he got pushed through a mirror. And that the last time that happened was when he got sent into his own mind by the hand of
Vishanti.
Vishanti, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, this could still be some Freddy Krueger dream logic thing where he's going to wake up at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's stuff to like here, but I'm also just like, oh, come on, it looked like you were actually heading somewhere super fast, and now you're like pulling back up again.
Well, again, the .lr comics kind of fill in like the gaps between the issues. So like
maybe that's
the
what
last
I need.
issue was all about like I think it was about the Spider family, and he had like one of like the Black Cat, and like what she was up to, because she's now involved in the story.
Yes, she is. Also, Moreland is back, apparently.
Yeah. He was in the most recent .lr one. He's just there. I guess maybe that's the character they were bringing back.
That's probably what it was. That makes sense. So yeah, Moreland is back again. And also, apparently, Sin Eater survived too, and also we're doing a callback to Spider Island and the weird, like, spider creatures.
Yeah, they're all there. Yep.
So Nick Spencer is just, like, referencing everything that's happened in Spider-Man over, like, the last 60 years. Just gotta get it all in there. I'll probably have to go back and read those point LRs, because they do actually seem fairly interesting. And also, that's where Mary Jane went, and Mary Jane also continues to actually be a big focal point of the story.
Yeah, yep.
So that's good. So yeah, I'll check those out. Maybe I should do a big video on that is what I should do, because they do actually seem like they have important sequential material.
Yeah, I think when it's all done, I think there's going to be 6 of them, I think.
Yeah, that makes about sense.
Yeah.
All right, then. Do we want to talk about X-Men? Because we had 3 new X-Men's this week.
Yeah, boy, we did.
We sure did. Man, where do we even start with this? I guess we'll start at Marauders there in the fallout of like, ooh, did Wolverine kill Saturnine? No, I didn't.
Nah. She knew he was going to do that, and just like showed him like what would happen if he did do it, and what would happen is like the Earth would be overrun by the Iraqi, and just bad. Just everything's bad.
Which, man, can I just say, that is an amazing fucking troll that issue pulled, because they give you a fake last time on page to make you think you missed a whole part where it's like, oh yeah, you know, Wolverine killed Saturnine, and then the demons overran Earth, and the Fantastic Four and Avengers got involved, and they died too, and it's like, wait, what? And then you keep reading, and then it's like Wolverine lashed to an X-Cross, and you're like, what's this? Only to go another page and be like, no, we were fucking with you, but you believed us, didn't you? Could you imagine if we did that, if that all happened in between issues? It's such a dirty joke, too, because it's like there's 21 parts in here and 3 come out a week, and it's like, wait, did I read this out of order? Did I read one?
Oh, we'll get to that, because I felt like that when I was reading the Wolverine issue.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going on. But yeah, so they continue their dinner. That's basically all this issue is just a continuation of the dinner.
Yeah, the last meal that a lot of them would probably have.
True enough, they continue to, size each other up and everything. Cypher almost dies by eating poison sushi, but the White Blade saves him, interestingly enough.
Yeah, like, resurrects him, basically, and I'm wondering if that's going to be, like, the thing at the end. That's going to be, like, what brings some of these mutants back that die.
I feel, yeah, that's definitely what they're calling out in here. But as Gorgon shows, well, can you resurrect yourself, though? Because if you die before then you can't bring anyone else back. And he's like, oh, I haven't died yet, and I haven't tried.
He doesn't intend to try either.
Yeah, I don't fucking know if my powers work. It's cool, too, that they're showing, and we see it in the next issue, too, that, like, some of the sword bearers are more honorable than others.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That they're not all like the Horsemen, and they're not all got like this big hate boner on for their dad Apocalypse and everything else. Some are just doing it just to prove themselves, and he's one, and Eska is another one too, because she actively tries to give Captain Britain a way out.
Yeah, she realizes that she will beat Captain Britain because she's the unbeaten. She will win and wants to give her every chance, but Betsy doesn't want it, and Betsy ends up fucking dying.
She does, though there are some interesting caveats to her death, mainly that it happened in Avalon, where her brother Jamie, who can warp reality, is king, and who also bet against her in the fight. Which makes me think, oh, did Jamie get her out of it on that one? Did she do the thing?
Yeah, because she didn't get like stabbed or anything. She like turned into like stained glass window, basically.
Yeah, she shattered into glass, and Saturnine's people got rid of it before anyone could really do anything with it. And kind of at that point, at Betsy's death, everything kind of goes off the rails, but purposely so, because Saturnine's like, well, wanted to kill Captain Britain, and I did it, so...
Yeah, what do I do now?
Yeah, didn't think my plan would be this easy. I guess I'm going to fuck with you for the next little bit.
I'm just going to rig all of the games in Iraqi's favor.
Yeah, and again, it's like, it's not even so much that, like, she wants Eriko to win, it's that she just wants to fuck with Krakoa a bit more, and it's like, actually, you were both stupid for even agreeing to this game with her in the first place, because she's clearly a crazy person.
Oh, yeah, and I just love that she just doesn't give a fuck who knows that. She's not, it's not like some, like, thing where she's trying to hide that she's rigging it for one side, and she's like, no. I really hate you mutants, and I'm going to show you that I hate you mutants.
And she's even says, it's like, well, you could leave if this is offending you so much, but if you leave, you forfeit and you lose, so...
And then your planet becomes part of Arakko.
So you just gotta stay here and keep taking it, and then you're like, well, actually... Her plan is fucking genius, though, because the way she's rigging it and being like, you can kill your opponent and still lose points for your team, that's basically like, oh, she's hoping they all kill each other because both Krakoa and Eriko were huge threats to her rule, and this way all of her enemies kill each other.
Yeah, and then she'll just be the last one left to take it all over.
Yeah, she's the last one. So it's like, she's fucking brilliant, actually. And they were both really stupid and prideful for agreeing to this in the first place. And I know some people are like, oh, you know, it's bad storytelling and arbitrary that they changed the rules of the sword fight. I'm like, no, it's arbitrary that they had a sword fight to decide all of this in the first place.
I do like the parallels between Arakko and Krakoa, where they're both sister islands, and they both contain people that... Their people are like highly arrogant, and I like that that's kind of being their undoing here at the moment.
Absolutely, and Wolverine has a great bit in his book where he's basically the audience, where it's like, this is stupid, I don't want to play this game. What's the point of a game if it has no rules? Yeah,
and then he gets shit-faced and just has to continue on with the rigged contest that he knows is rigged and can't do anything about.
Nope, and just can't get out of it. It's just like, well, we're on this ride until it ends. And Solemn, again, takes another level in beautiful, wonderful asshole, where he's like, I'm calling in my deal with Wolverine, substitution, you gotta fight war now.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like, what was he say, there's some kind of, like, poetry or something in me killing your husband and now having the guy who killed your son fight you now and probably kill you.
Yeah, they killed the Summoner really early on, and I'm like, oh, we actually knew him longer than we knew the other sword bearers, and they kill him off quite unharmoniously.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that he just got, you know, a sword through the head and just died.
Yeah, he just got fucking murked. That's the end of his story. But yeah, that's some interesting shit. And oh, what is it? Frickin' Saturnine kidnaps Shogo, Jubilee's dragon son, too.
Yeah, she has her own dragon now.
Just starts riding around, and the way she just starts handing out points where it's like, oh, this wedding has pleased me, you both get a point now. I really liked that issue where Cypher, he was so worried about sword fighting and just kept stressing about it, and it's like, oh, you're not sword fighting, you're just gonna have to marry the person who was gonna kill you. You're having a wedding. Well, this isn't a competition, to which Apocalypse and Genesis are like, you tell me. Yeah, Wolverine has the best line. He's like, this is a fate worse than death. Yeah, I'd rather take the sword death, please. And the fact, too, that we learn a little bit more about Bay the Blood Huntress, that, you know, no one can actually understand what she says. Yeah, well, I think Apocalypse can. Right, she speaks with the Doom Note, which is a weird frequency that people, you know, want to listen to and want to figure out, but not even Cypher can figure it out, and he just loves that about her, so, you know, they might make it after all. I'd love if they were the only two survivors of this whole thing. Also, Doug was really hoping to get him some otherworldly snoo while he was out there. Oh no, I'm going to die. Oh, I'm getting married. But I still might die. Worth it. Worth it. Also, when she took her mask off, she has, like, weird robot parts on her face, almost like Warlock.
Yeah, she's like a cyborg or something. I don't know.
Yeah, does that mean something? What do you think that means?
I'm sure we'll learn something. I'm sure Jonathan Hickman has a long story for that one.
I'm sure they do. Also, what is it? Death briefly took his mask off, too. Yes, it is a mask, and he's apparently more horrifying under that than any of the other ones.
He's so horrifying that when you look at him, you turn to dust.
Yeah, he's that fucking horrifying under the mask. Also, he's the one who drugged Wolverine to slow down his healing factor because they are going to continue cheating in this rigged game. Which shows an extra level of pettiness from the Horsemen. It's like, guys, they're already rigging it in your favor and you're still cheating?
Yeah.
God, you guys just love to cheat. Lie, cheat, steal. You're cheataholics, man. And, yeah, that's basically the whole story, is that they're heading into the final leg of the tournament now, and Erico is way, way up.
Way ahead. Something needs to happen in the next 3 issues for the X-Men to catch up, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, as they keep changing the rules as they go along. And also, too, like, she invents, like, crazy new shit where it's like, okay, now it's going to be a drinking contest between you and Storm, but we're on the same team.
Yeah, it's going to... Magic and Pog have to have a contest of arms. Not weapons, arms.
But, oh, no, I'm sorry. I said that was a fight to the death, by which I mean the first one to die wins.
I love she's so getting into the specifics of what she said. It's great. Which, you know what, she's like a fey creature from Otherworld and the Captain Britain lore and everything, so that actually makes all the sense in the world from a mythological standpoint, because it's like, yeah, never make a deal with fairies, never make a deal with fey, because they will nickel and dime you on every word. But yeah, so it's one of those situations, too. I think so many people were so hung up on the fact where it's like, the rules, but the rules don't matter anymore. Not to be like, well, yeah, but now how high is the drama? How are they going to get out of this one? Yeah.
Like, they're really going to have to think how to get out of this one. And also, too, you got to figure the more honorable members of Erico are going to be like, well, we don't want to win this way.
Yeah, well, what's his name? The White Sword was already like that. He was well against War trying to poison Wolverine and didn't want any part of that, which is why he partly healed Cypher.
Which, yeah, I mean, when it's his time to fight, he might just throw it, because why not?
Yeah.
He might just throw it and try and give them extra points. We'll see. But yeah, so that was X-Men for this week. Lot of stuff happening there. Felt like these 3 issues went incredibly quick, didn't they? When you like hit the ground, it's just like, oh shit, and they're over.
Yeah. Well, like once that those sword fights and those battles started happening, then yeah, it just like started picking up pace.
Yeah, it really, really did. So I had 2 more this week. What about you?
Yeah, I think I had 2 or 3 more. Yeah.
I know we both had punchlines, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, more We Live in a Society stuff.
Man, I was not expecting this book. I almost didn't read it. You know what actually made me read it? I was flipping through it, and I saw Bluebird was in it. I'm like, oh shit, I like Harper Row. It's nice to see Tynan coming back to this character he created. I'll give it a read. I'll see what it's about. Oh, wow. I thought this was just going to be like a cheapy one-off to try and cash in on the weird surprise success of Punchline. No, he wrote a story. He wrote a fuck of a story here. An admittedly uncomfortable and even terrifying story about radicalization and parasocial relationships and homegrown terrorism in America. And I'm like, wow, I would not expect the Punchline book to do this.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was great that we're getting... It's the whole deal with the character is it's a commentary on those people that love the Joker, but not in the way that Punchline does, where it's kind of like an ironic way.
Yeah, obsessives. You know what it reminded me very much of, where she goes on this whole speech on her podcast, because she has a Joker fan podcast. Of course she does. And like her way of talking, like, oh, you know, I see the truth behind the crimes and the jokes. You know, it's a secret message just to me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you know who she sounds like? Do you remember? This was like ages ago. The woman who like stalked David Letterman and she said basically the exact same thing, where it's like, oh, he's training me to be his sidekick and everything, and he's sending special messages just to me, and I'm like, oh, this is some next level parasocial creepy stalker shit. This is like Ingrid Goes West but with clowns.
Yeah, and it's like all those people that you see talking about the recent Joker film, how like everything had like a hidden meaning in it, where it's like, no, it didn't. It was just some fucking crazy guy in clown makeup.
No, you are projecting so fucking hard here. And again, it's not just even that. Like, you see it all the time with, like, people who get, like, way too obsessed with, like, Twitch streamers and YouTubers even, and, like, they talk to us like they know us. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm glad you're a fan, but you're also freaking me out a little bit, too, with, you know, how personal you're making all of this. And also this idea that because, you know, Punchline is younger and more tech-savvy, she can actually, like, hijack and co-opt the Joker's message for herself. She literally goes from being a simp to building an army of simps dedicated to her.
Yeah, and as well, it's like, whereas Joker was like limited to like Gotham, she's limited to the world, and she has like Joker people all around the world.
It's going viral, and like the fact too that we see like, oh, there's actual Joker gang members in the police force and everything helping her out. I'm like, oh, so we're doing kind of like an allegory to white supremacy and like how there's a bunch of them in the police force, and we know that, and the FBI knew that in like 2008 and didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and then obviously a big part of the issue is Cullen Rowe, who finds out about this podcast, and it basically starts taking over his life, and he starts like listening to the message, and it makes him and Harper start butting heads.
Fighting, like, wow, the way they show how easy it is for an otherwise good character who we know and have seen in other things to fall down a really dark rabbit hole and get radicalized is so true to life and so shocking and so, you know, kind of cool. Again, Jaden in the chat mentions Alex Jones. Yeah, literally that's how it happens. He's like, oh, I was just trying to watch some fail videos on YouTube and the algorithm keeps recommending me Punchline, and I'm like, yeah, that's how it works, because we know white supremacist, neo-fascist content is actually, you know, upvoted all the time on YouTube, and they've learned how to use that system to their own. And he's like, oh, I was just playing Call of Duty with the boy I was crushing on, and then he said, you know, you gotta listen to the Punchline experience, you know, free marketplace of ideas. And I'm like, oh my god, he's getting radicalized. Fuck. Like, you see it happen, and it's like, that's how it's done. James Tynion really did his fucking homework.
And again, this is actually really cool, because it seems to be, it's like placing Punchline more as a Bluebird villain than it is a Batman villain, because she's had like more interaction or inadvertent interaction with Bluebird and her and Harper's family than the rest of the Bat family, which I think is really cool. I think that'd be really cool.
Me too. Yeah, well, again, we keep hearing that Tynion is going to be writing a new Batman book in 2021. And in fact, this one even says, see what happens next in 2021.
Yeah, again, I would love if this was to become like a Bluebird book and Punchline was to become like her Joker.
That seems to be where they're going with it. I think it's going to be like a bigger Bat family affair. I think this is going to be Tynion's way to like reunite the cast of his detective comics for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty fucking dope. And again, I almost didn't read it. I almost didn't give it a chance, because I'm just like, Punchline, come on. The character was only popular because, you know, speculators bought up her first appearance on eBay thinking that they could flip it for Harley Quinn first appearance money one day. But give it to Tynion to take what could have been a very silly, very, like, creatively bankrupt concept and tell a fuck of a story with it.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's so great.
And yet, I feel bad almost in a way, because I'm like, yeah, everyone, you got to go pick up and buy this Punchline book. I'm like, no, if they do that, Punchline will become more popular, which means she'll start showing up in more things. And when Tynion's not writing them, there's going to be a writer who takes it all seriously and doesn't realize that she's supposed to be this... is supposed to be this stand-in for all these bad things, and you're not supposed to like her, and she's supposed to be evil, and all this other thing, and, you know, she's supposed to be representative of all this real-world bad stuff, because you know there's going to be a writer, like a Scott Lobdell, who's just like, hey, big titty goth girlfriend, it's fun.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be like those guys in that chat, in that Call of Duty chat that was in there. That was the realest fucking thing.
Man, was that ever. I'm
the
like, man,
things that people were saying, them like, I have seen people saying this, and it's like, what the fuck? Did James Tynion just have like a Call of Duty chat window open and he was just copying stuff down?
like it's shockingly realistic where I'm like, man, I have seen this chat thread, I have been in this chat thread and quickly laugh.
I'm surprised they got away with like a lot of the stuff that was saying in there. They said stuff like simp and
yes,
called someone gay and all of that. Yeah,
shockingly. Well, again, I think Tynion gets a little extra leeway because he's a bisexual man himself. So he's like, no, it's fine when I say it, DC editorial. I can say it. You can't say it, but I can say it. But yeah, so Punchline is great, and I can't believe I'm recommending Punchline. Like, this is so good. This might be like one of the top 10 best of the year. I hate to say it.
Again, it's good now, and as you said, I don't want a new writer coming in or like another writer picking up her story and not realizing that it's all meant to be a commentary on what they think on fans and like people who take this shit so seriously.
You know what it is? It's literally, this is why Punchline is secretly genius, because it's the Ouroboros that eats its own tail. Where she's like, people don't understand the Joker, only I understand the Joker. Oh, I'm getting so popular now. Oh, I hated this character Punchline, now I love this character Punchline, I want to buy everything about her. Oh, she's so great. Oh no, it's eating its own tail. Like, literally, that's what's going to happen. Like, she will become the very thing she is commentating on. And better still, because as we saw from the end of Joker War, Joker never left Gotham. He's seeing this, and it's pissing him off that she's co-opting his message.
Yeah. Well, not only that, she's, like, playing it up that she never went along with Joker's plan, and whereas she clearly did, because she was, like, gassing people to get his attention and whatnot. Yeah, she's like trying to, like, Me Too him and cancel him and whatnot. And it's like pissing him off so much.
Yeah, which I actually love that, where it's like Joker never gets this angry at someone who's not Batman. Which is really interesting in and of itself, to give the Joker another new and interesting reason to hate. And it will be great to see them meet up again, because, you know, this would be the Joker basically having to admit what he never has to admit, and that is that he believes in something and that he can actually get upset. Yeah,
something that other than Batman.
Yeah, because that, like, betrays a level of humanity to him. And, like, I would assume the Joker to be like, no, stop stealing my message. Stop telling people to believe in it. I believe in nothing. That's the whole point. When you ascribe something to my beliefs that, you know, that takes away my power, that makes me destroyable. You know, the power of the Joker is that I can change and be whatever I'm needed to be in this point in time. I always represent what is most evil in history and what is most unknown. But yeah, so shit, Punchline's good. I can't believe it.
I know, it was so damn good.
Then again, it's like, it's good because it's like about everything but Punchline. She's the hook they hang it all on, but it's about like a million other things.
Yeah.
So what else did you have, Matt?
I had Iron Man issue 3.
Yeah, the Christopher Cantwell book. Again, I picked up a couple of these when I thought I was going to be interviewing him, but that fell through. But it actually does look really good.
Oh man, this book's so good. And it's even better because it's pissing off so many people, which means it's doing its job.
Yes, I remember you tweeting about this, actually. Do tell.
Yeah, no, so Tony, like, all through this book, he's kind of going through, like, he's come back to life, and he's kind of through this issue realizing this, like, do people want him as Iron Man? Do people not, like, he's bending over backwards to, like, save them from all these villains and everything, and he kind of, like, snaps this issue when the Melter, the AAA villain, the Melter, melts his car, and basically just does it. Just it's so funny because, like, the Melter just melts his car and it's like, I melted your car. Are you mad?
Mad, bro.
And then Tony just snaps and, like, knocks him out, and he, like, ends up flying up really high and just dropping the villain. And he ends up, like, grabbing him before he hits the ground, but, like, he kind of, like, snaps because he's been up for, like, days fighting villains, and, like, no one's, like, giving him credit. Like, he's trying to find that credit of people who are going, like, oh yay, Iron Man. He can't even visit kids in, like, school. He, like, drops in at a kid's school, and the teachers tell him to basically fuck off because he's disrupting their, like, structured learning and all of that. And we find out this whole issue, we think he's, like, talking with Hellcat. What he's actually doing, he's actually, like, turned up at, like, a Burger King at like 3 a.m. and is talking with the employee, and there's a great like, sir, this is a Wendy's moment.
Love it. Okay, I love everything about this.
But yeah, then he ends up the rest of the story is about him flying out to Oklahoma, I think it is, to like look at his new investment. This he met like this guy called Fuller Tealhard in the first issue, who had like some revolutionary lightning capture device that he wanted, and Tony invested in it. And he's flying on a plane. He's flying in coach with Trish Walker, and he's never flown coach before, and he doesn't know. It's like he's complaining about the leg room, and like he can't recline his seat until the captain tells him to, and all that. But yeah, he gets into an argument with Trish because Trish knows all about fucking Tony. She should read him like a book and like realize like he's doing all this just because he wants like the praise and everything. He's like, oh, I came back from the dead, and it's like, well, people don't. How do you deal with it, Trish? And she's like, oh, I just don't give a shit. And it was like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say. You're not as popular as me, and that really fucking sets her off. And she's like, look, Tony, like you may have died, but the thing is, like, I died, but I died because I committed suicide. And because they do the thing this book fucking references, it references books from like the 60s and whatnot.
That's great. And
she gives him this great talk about how he thinks he has real problems, but he doesn't. Like, he doesn't have real people problems. He has rich people problems. And it's like they're nothing compared to like what she has to deal with, which is this guilt that she took her own life, and she has that for the rest of her life. And it was just like a miracle that she was able to be brought back to life, which happened in like a Hellstrom book at some point in history. I have no idea.
Talk about using every part of continuity.
Yeah, so they end up going to the guy, and the guy reveals himself to be like a fucking whack job who's working for
of course
for Korvac. Who's going to be the main villain of this run?
As of the Korvac saga? Wow, what a deep fucking pull.
Korvac, it's proper Korvac, yep.
Holy shit.
And he ends up, he's like brainwashed, like the Controller, Unicorn, and Blizzard.
A bunch of actual Iron Man. Holy shit, this book is using real Iron Man villains?
Yeah, not just like Iron Man in a different color. Actual Iron Man heroes, villains that no one's ever used before.
That's really impressive. Cantwell did his goddamn homework.
And yeah, he's ended up brainwashing them into thinking that he's going to be some type of god. And he ends up like hitting them with all the lightning rods that he's built, and Tony ends up surviving, but it looks like maybe Trish might have died. Yeah, so it's a damn fine book. It's so good. I love that it's just stripped off of all the stuff that Jim Zub and Dan Slott did, where it's like we had the story where he had all the armors and the cool technology. Now we're getting like a broken man in a shitty set of armor having to deal with real world problems.
Which is very good for Iron Man. It sounds like a real back to basics, fresh start kind of thing, which I like about it. Looks really nice too. Who draws that?
I'm not sure, but yeah, it does look. It's such a nice looking book.
It's really nice looking. Also, too, I dig what Cantwell's laying down there. It's like, let us put Iron Man essentially under like the Hollywood superstar microscope, which makes sense as Cantwell's a dude who wrote for television forever. He probably knows a lot of guys like Tony Stark, and basically making Tony Stark a little bit more like Robert Downey Jr. too, this self-destructive guy. Yeah,
and there's the whole thing where Iron Man is having to deal with like every little thing he does is being like scrutinized. Like he
as you would.
He talked about like the investment he makes. He says, it's an investment in like clean energy, and maybe we can like harness like reusable energy. And it's like, so surely somehow the press will turn that against me, Yeah, it's great.
Cafu is the artist apparently.
It's great. Yeah, that's the one.
I might have to check that one out. I know. I guess Volume 1. This is what was this? It was like issue 4,
3.
Okay, yeah, so the first arc is almost finished up there. Apparently his Doctor Doom is great, too. I flipped through his Doctor Doom, and it's apparently kind of like a West Wing type story, but like in-lot vary. It's just Doctor Doom trying to make sure the trains run on time.
Yeah, I think like the most recent issue, I saw him advertising it. It was something about like some invasion in Latveria or something. Someone was trying to take over Latveria or something.
Good luck with that. I just love the idea of Doctor Doom walking down long hallways talking to all of his different people. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I've heard worse ideas. Let's just see how shit works in Latveria. I had one last book this week, and I'll go really quick with it. It was Champions, #2.
How is Outlawed going?
We're still doing it. That's how it's going. We're still doing it. This issue admittedly doesn't do much that the last issue didn't do, and I actually liked the last issue because I thought that, it actually got the ball rolling in a way the other books didn't. We kind of get like a big demonstration there where it's like, half the people are pro-champions and half the people are anti-champions. Mm-hmm. And, of course, it ends up, bad agitators start a riot and everything, and Miss Marvel and Spider-Man are like, well, should we get involved? If we get involved, we might make it worse. But Sam is like, well, fuck it, they're already calling us outlaws and criminals anyway just for existing. We might as well get in there. So they do. Really, this issue was also kind of more about Ironheart, because Eval Ewing wrote Ironheart before she wrote this, so clearly she had some stuff still left to do with that character.
Yep.
And it's kind of fun. I guess she kind of has like the Ironheart no more moment where she's like, look, I don't want to be a superhero anymore. I don't want to have to deal with any of this shit. I can still be Ironheart, but I have to basically have Iron Man adopt me, because that's how it works under this new law. And she's like, I just don't want to do it. I just want to quit. And, of course, the champions are dealing with a mole right now, and Miss Marvel jumps to the conclusion, oh, you weren't there at the meeting when everyone got arrested, and now you're quitting. I think you might be the traitor. To which she's like, bitch, they didn't out you during the Senate hearings. You weren't there, and, maybe if you were a better leader, none of this would have happened. And I'm like, oh no, is this the part where they're going to start fighting each other like Captain America and Iron Man in Civil War? No, actually, they don't. They actually work it out. And I'm like, oh cool, they can escalate it, but then de-escalate it. And we see that Viv is still very much alive. She didn't actually die, so the whole impetus for all of this is false. But also that she was the mole and that she told on her friends, not because she wanted to hurt them, but this was her weird robot mind being like, oh, I need to protect them, I need to keep them safe, and, if I kind of make it so these laws get passed and if I empower this group, then surely they'll be safe. Oh no, that's not how it worked at all. Mm-hmm. So she's like running away, so Viv is basically like on the run from her own team now.
Okay.
So there's some interesting ideas at play here.
Yeah. It's just too bad that it's come so fucking late.
Yeah, delays really hurt the fuck out of this. And I feel really bad for Eval Ewing, because she clearly had ideas, and they were going to, rebrand it, a fresh jumping on point for Champions, with a big story to get people really interested. Corona.
Yeah, Corona.
And now it's like, well, and Miss Marvel will be done at 18. And again, the Miles book is still going. The Miles book is actually almost finishing up the whole Ultimate Universe arc right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of cool. I read that too before I started, but that's me catching up on old books. Basically, Ultimatum built a portal to the Ultimate Universe and says, I'm sending you back, Miles.
Oh, okay then.
Then I'll be the only Miles, but I have to send your parents and uncle back too, because technically they're from there. And I'm like, dude, don't pull the string on that sweater, because technically you'd also have to send back the Maker, and you'd have to send back a bunch of different people.
Yeah. Well, the Maker might already be in the Ultimate Universe.
True, he might have beat you there. Jimmy Hudson, wherever the fuck he is, you might have to send him back too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people you'd have to send back. And he grows big because obviously he stole a bunch of suit powers from the actual Ultimate, so he grows big like Ant-Man, and they have a big kaiju fight at the end.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was it. That was everything I read.
Last issue I had was Superman Man of Tomorrow issue 19.
Oh, right. What's up with this?
This was a fucking fun issue. This is Batman, Superman team up, and they had to team up to fight their evil Elseworlds multiverse counterparts in that of the Justice Lords, Crime Syndicate, the Bizarro versions, and the fifth dimensional imp versions. Oh,
that's a good mix. All of them in one story.
Yeah. So the premise is Superman has asked Batman up to the Watchtower to reprimand him for on a recent mission. They had like a plan set out, and Batman went off to do his own thing. And Superman didn't particularly like that because they're on a team. They need to work as a team. And their meeting is interrupted by this group of villains who've decided to band together to defeat the prime versions of themselves, so they themselves can become the prime versions.
Makes sense in a twisted comic book logic.
Yeah, and Batman and Superman aren't at least a bit phased by this. They're like, okay, Superman, you take the Batmans and I'll take the Superman. And oh man, Superman is so fucking big dick in this. He's like, he doesn't fight though. He like draws them into a red sun. He draws the Batman into a red sun room, and he's like, look, guys. I'm going to give you a chance. We're going to fight in this red sun room. I'm going to go without my powers, and I'm going to one-on-one all of yous, and I'll hold back. I'll like basically fight with one hand behind my back, and he beats them all. Wow. He beats them all.
Amazing. That's fucking dope.
Batman as well. Batman is fighting the Superman at this point, and he's like, well, you know, I'm not going to be able to use kryptonite because kryptonite from other Earths don't work on you, so I'm just going to use magic.
One of the only other things that can hurt.
Conjures up like a magical bat mech armor, and they end up fighting and everything, and it looks like they get to a point where they're about to lose because of the Justice Lord's Superman. He kind of has him and the Justice Lord's Batman kind of the ones in charge, and they kind of try and use that against them, like try and turn the Ultraman against him because he's like, oh, Ultraman, you're taking orders from this guy, and they end up...
Yeah, because they didn't like each other in the cartoon originally. Yeah, I'm glad they paid attention to that little piece of continuity.
Yeah, and they end up kind of beating the heroes, but it's all part of their plan because they do this cool thing where they've lured them towards this wall and they press a button and the wall switches. So now the Batman is fighting the Batman and Superman is fighting the Superman, and Superman's fighting the Superman within the red sun room, so they don't have any powers or anything. And it's just an issue that just like shows why these two heroes work together. And yeah, they every now and then they get into an argument or something, but they're friends. They'll fight with each other and fight really well with one another. And yeah, it's a fucking fun issue.
That sounds really fun. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, everyone. So is that the show for the week?
I think that's the show for the week.
Alrighty then. Anything else to promote? Anything at all? I know I say that every week, but it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Coronavirus. We can't go anywhere or do anything.
No. Oh yeah, I've got all these cons coming up.
Yeah. You know, all these public appearances. You know, be sure to find me at Jumbo's Clown Room. You know, I'm gonna be signing T-shirts.
just T-shirt. I don't know what T-shirts. Just T-shirts.
I'll be signing them. I mean, look, we say that a lot of people are going out anyway when they fucking shouldn't.
Yeah.
I had friends in New York there being like, hey, so apparently all the bars are filled tonight. It's like, really? God. Why?
Jesus.
There's just a group of people who are like, hey, it's over now, right? No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
No fucking shit. There was a lady in my condo who said, hey, you know, my dad is celebrating his 90th birthday. Would you like to come? And everything. It's like, no.
Oh, just what every 90-year-old father wants, a coronavirus. A stranger with coronavirus.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're going to be having cupcakes and we're going to be singing. I'm like, look, I'm sure your dad's a nice guy and 90 is a milestone, but don't be recruiting strangers. No. No. Not in this lifetime. Please, no. Like, yeah, it's got to suck having a birthday during this, but I mean, look, you want to make it to 91? I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's like, fuck it, I'm 90. I'm good. Bring it on. In which case, hey, more power to you, man. But, you know, I got to keep my lung power here if I want to keep talking into microphones and entertaining all the people. Ain't that right, people? But yeah, that was a real fucking thing that happened to me this week, and I couldn't believe it. Also, some jagoffs last night were lighting off fireworks in the park, like 2 parking lots over.
God damn, yeah, they're celebrating that coronavirus is gone now.
Yeah.
It's leaving the White House.
The evil has been defeated. And like never, like I'm not a narc. I'm not that type of person. And because I live in a building with a bunch of old people, I'm sure someone called the cops on them anyway. But never more in my life have I wanted to pick up the phone and go full Karen and be like, these people are setting off fireworks. Please go arrest them. Also, it happened when I was trying to record a video, too, so even more reason that I was kind of pissy, too. Where it's like, look, I gotta tell people about Spider-Man. Shut up. The people need to know what Spider-Man was doing. Not a lot happened in this issue, but he was doing it. But yeah, so that was my week. I guess we'll start bringing the show to a close, everyone. Thank you so much for watching and listening. It's always very much appreciated.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, especially in these trying times, we're glad we can entertain you every Sunday night for a little bit. And as always, too, if you are a patron, you can get the episode in both video and audio format before anyone else. Matt always tries to get that one out to you lickety-split, so be sure to keep an eye open for that. And for everyone else, you can get the show Wednesday, 8 a.m., with ads, and then I put an ad-free version up later whenever I can on SoundCloud, so that's always fun. And also, I think we're on Google Podcast, too. I think you can find us in the thing.
I'm not sure. I think so.
Well, because I was fucking around with it last night and adding a bunch of shows to my Google thing myself, because I never do it that way. And I'm like, is the Comic Multiverse on here? Yes, it is. We might not show up when you actually click it in, but like if you actually search for us on the thing, yes, we are there, and yes, you can add it to your like
is it like
Google Podcast
actually
feed.
ours, or is it? It's not one of those goddamn channels that like rip videos and upload themselves, is it?
No, it's definitely ours. Hey man, I don't think we're big enough for anyone to want to fucking rip us off. God, I wish. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can listen to it that way. I know that's an option for podcasts that's brand new, and I know a lot of people have started doing that now. So like when you type it in, as I am doing right now, it'll show up as like an episode, and you can click that and listen to it directly from Google. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
I don't think we get any money for that or anything, though. It's just a thing.
You'd think it would do like some sort of AdSense thing.
You would hope so, wouldn't you? And also, too, what else did I have to say? I actually got paid by Twitch. Not much, but I got paid by Twitch the other day. So thank you, everyone who's been coming out on Thursday, every other Thursday, to watch the D&D streams. That's all I've been doing, and that's probably where the money came from. So thank you, people who did that. I appreciate that.
It's always good when you get like some unknown amount of money just put into your bank account. Just like, oh, where did this come from? Oh, Twitch.
Yeah, woohoo, surprise money.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen all the time, but it's a good feeling, especially as we enter this Christmas season. It's nice to get a little surprise money. All right, thanks everyone for watching and listening, and Matt and I will be back again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.